Hey everybody, and welcome to a new art journaling video. Again, I have an abstract spread for you today using mainly watercolors, and I think I will also use some of the charcoal sticks from Cretacolor. I think they are called art chunks, and it's basically a charcoal stick that you can use with water and also dry, of course. I'm starting out with some loose watercolor, watercoloring just with a big brush. I have no plan. I don't have a color plan in mind at this stage. I just wanted to play. After these stressful weeks, it was so relaxing to just take out my materials, and I was able to create just for myself. There was no need to use a certain stamp to promote it. There was no need to use something special. I just could do what I would like to do, and that's what I enjoy the most. I can't tell you the names of the colors. I believe the green could be the Cascade Green from Daniel Smith, and the orange is definitely one from Core. I'm not sure which orange it is, and I really like how these colors look together on the page. The journal I'm using is the Journal from Action. At the moment, it's truly one of my favorite journals to use. I love the format. I love that the paper lays, that it opens flat, and the paper is not as bad as I thought it is, because I always used something underneath, like collage and a matte medium, or just a gesso, because I thought the paper was super worse. But the paper actually isn't that worse. I'm working on the plain paper without any primer, and I really enjoy how the watercolors work on it. It's not a typical watercolor paper. The colors sit more on top, and that's what I like. They stay a little bit more vibrant, I would say. And I'm working on the textured side at the moment, which is a little better than the other. The other side is smooth. The smooth side soaks up more of the watercolors, and it's a bit harder to work with them. But the smooth side works as well. So I'm really enjoying that. Yeah, and I think just because of the format, I really like it at the moment. And because it's quite flat. I do not like a textured paper. When I have a textured journal, I have a few. I would just use these as kind of experiment and play journals. Yeah. And you can see I just add color. I do some mark making. It's super intuitively. I try to keep some open space on the page so that it doesn't overwhelm me, that I have some light coming through, and that it isn't too heavy in the end. That's something that can happen quite easily when you fill the page completely with color, that it looks like it would fall on you, like it is very heavy, and with the light coming from behind, I really like that. As always, I'm going to link up my blog post in the video description, so you can jump over, have a look at the blog where I posted close-up images and a photo of the finished spread, so you can have a more calmer look on the finished result. And if you are enjoying the video, it would be really lovely if you leave me a comment, like the video, and of course, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. I'm using a water-soluble pencil here to make some scribbly marks into the wet paint. I use a Derwent Inktense. For me, that's my most favorite type of pencil for doing this technique. Here I also do some mark making. Of course, you can use any other water-soluble pencil to do something similar. I just feel the Inktense work best when you use them wet. I sometimes would also dip the nib into water and then draw or scribble with them. I think that's what I'm doing now. I really like the texture they make, and they have very intense colors. Here I'm making some splatters with the watercolor, and sometimes I just can't stop. But I think it's now time to let the page dry before I come back and add more stuff over the top. It's always good to let things dry in between so not everything is mixing into the other, and you get some layering on your page, which creates a lot more depth and also avoids that you create muddy color. Here I'm adding some of the flash paints. I think I've already shared them with you that I used some of them and put them into these needle bottles. I think the application with that is a lot better compared to the glass jars they come in. I don't know which green it is. It's some kind of an earthy green. And it might be that I've messed up the page at this stage because I liked it as it was. Yeah, but I think it wasn't finished, and that's the reason why I added more. And I really love the look of different materials combined with each other. I think with mixed media, it's more easy to bring in more interest and depth because you automatically have so many different textures by the different materials you're using. And I think I try to scratch into that wet paint with that, yeah, with that fern brush. It's quite a stiff brush. I think it's an oil brush usually. And I just mix that a little bit in. It's been a while that I've recorded that video. I think about a week or 10 days, but I've recorded a bunch of videos and I almost forgot what I have done on which page. And that's really interesting for myself to watch back the videos, because sometimes I would look on the page and then I would question myself what did I do there? How does this work out? And then it's really nice that I am able to rewatch what I have done. So I think that's maybe a good tip if you have the possibility to film yourself, to film your process. That can be really helpful sometimes, just to watch it back. Here I made some marks with black acrylic gouache, and I used just my fingertip to make these dots, and I really like these mark makings here. I think they look quite lovely. I'm adding some splatters in black using the Artgraph tailor shape crayon. It's just a nice material to quickly have a watercolor that is very intense, and the white of them is quite opaque, so that's also really nice. Here I used the black, but of course you could also use some black watercolor or thinned down paint. I let my page dry, and here I pulled out one of my old books. That's a super old book with some yellowish vintagey paper in it, and I wanted to use some of the paper on my spread because I really felt that the color and the style of it would fit the page quite nicely. And I'm just tearing some pieces out of that paper and I will adhere it to my spread. I'm adhering that just simply with my glue stick. Of course, you can use some fluid glue, but I think with that thin type of paper, the glue stick works the best. And of course, if I would add collage to a real painting, something you make on canvas and you want to hang that up, I would always use a matte medium for that, but as it's just in my journal, I think it's just fine to use a simple glue stick. And also, if you work with watercolors underneath and you put matte medium over the top, you always have to be so careful not to smudge everything that's already on the page. I will now also add some mark making to the spread using different types of materials like acrylic markers. I'm using one here, and also I really like to use the Neo colors to do my mark making. Just add some patterns, lines, scribbly marks, whatever feel fits on my page. And in this case, I had a look at the page and I thought that the marker doesn't look good. It is just too much pink and it just is not good at this stage, and I tried to remove that and that messed it up even more. And then I decided I have no other choice than just painting over it to cover things up. And here I added some white acrylic gouache and covered that. I really like acrylic gouache or the flash paints in my art journal because these dry matte, and that avoids, I tried to do some mark making, which I didn't like. That avoids that your pages will stick together once you keep the book closed. If you're working with acrylics, you can use a white candle once your page is done and wipe it over the page, and the wax will help that the pages don't stick together. And you could also use some tracing paper and put that in between the pages to avoid them stick together. I added more of that white, and I'm dragging that wood stick through it because I did this on another page and I really like that texture, and that's why I'm using it all the time now. And here I'm using the white art graph to make some splatters. I will try to link up all the supplies in the video description so you can find them. I let those splatters dry, and then I come back to my page to do even more mark making. That is really my favorite step of the process. I have a white acrylic fine liner here to make some white marks. This is one from Enmai. I'm not sure if I shared it with you already. They are quite nice, but I have no idea how long they will last. They are so good. They have acrylic ink in them, and they look like a ballpoint pen. But I'm really afraid that these will dry out quite quickly. But so far, everything with them is fine. All the ones I've already opened still are working still super good, and I'm really happy about them. And here I made some white tiny dots over the black area. I really love this type of pattern. I think it's quite interesting. Here I'm using a pencil to do a few scribbles over that area that I painted over. I really like now how the texture looks that I got due to this mistake. And here I do some more mark making with the pencil. Just a few, I think, plus signs, some scribbles. I really like these tiny details that you can discover when you have a look on the page. And here I'm going through my Neo colors, and I like to find a green that fits the green on my page. And I'm going to make some more marks. I really like to make marks over in the same color over an area. So over a green, I would use a greenish color and then blend that into another area. That helps to connect the page, I feel. And I really like that. I always tell you that I tend to overwork things. So I think it's time to stop with the mark making. I don't think I will do a lot more to this spread. I really like it. I think, yeah, I think even in the beginning when I thought I covered something that was just nice, I now like it even more, and I like the layers that I got on this page. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Jump over to the blog for some close-up photos, but of course, I will leave you with a photo now, and I hope we will see us next time. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.